Okay, time for some man time. Ladies, let me tell you something. In this new social media age, podcast age, we hear a lot of things coming from the female gender, especially of the black kind, the African American kind, the ADOS, the pro black kind. We hear all of the rhetoric about where's my Boaz? I want a man who follows God. Let me help you understand something. Here's the truth. You all have been listening to gay and bisexual men in church for decades. Yeah. You all have been following in the closet gay and bisexual males who were your pastors, preachers, ministers, bishops for decades. And you couldn't understand or know or discern that. What makes you think that you can understand, know, or discern anything else about what a man is supposed to do or his relationship with God? That's one. Two, per your Bible that you're speaking of by wanting a Boaz or a man who follows God, your Bible doesn't tell you to be the leader. It tells your man to be the leader. Your Bible doesn't tell you to want a man who follows God. It tells you to submit yourself to the man who follows God. And that doesn't mean your God. It means his. Yeah. Love your God with all of your heart, your mind, and your soul. Yeah. If you're following a man who follows God, it means he's already following a God that's not your God, it's his. There's probably a reason for that, based off of your Bible. Based off of your Bible, most women don't follow God. Based off of your Bible, there are more women who don't follow God and had to be brought back to the flock. And very few of them were repenters. Most of them chose to be who they were when they were shouting down and crucifying Jesus, speaking against him. Only a few, the special, submitted themselves to Jesus, submitted themselves to Moses, submitted themselves to the king, etc., etc. That's why kings had more concubines than wives. Next, most of you don't follow God. You want to know how you know? You want to know how you can be certain of this? Single mothers is an abomination. Did you catch it? Single motherhood is an abomination. It means you are a rebellious Jezebel spirit. Yeah. If there are more baby mamas in your church than there are wives, if there are more baby daddies in your church than there are husbands, if there are more dick slangers and pussy poppers in your church than there are abstaining men and women, if there are more fathers and mothers who defend and harbor their whorish daughters, their bitches daughters, their criminal sons, their YN sons, then that is not a place of worship. That is a den of thieves. It's in your book where you found out about your Boaz, where you found out about your Jesus, where you found out about your man who follows God. In fact, guess what? Ruth served Boaz for free, for food, not for money, not for dates, not to get her hair and nails done, not to get her makeup on. Nope, she worked to feed Naomi and herself. And guess what? Naomi was doing exactly what Ruth did. You know what they were doing? Naomi's son died, Ruth's husband. Then she gave her to the other brother. He died. And when she had no more sons to give Ruth to, she instructed Ruth and the other sister-in-laws to go back to their father's home, land and country. And the other two went, but Ruth stayed. So was Naomi. Naomi was refusing to go back to her father's homeland, country, and town too. Instead, they went to her husband's family's land, home, country, and town. And Ruth went with her and said, wherever you go, I go. Wherever you sleep, I sleep. Whatever you eat, I eat. You know what that's called? Submission. You know what that's called? Two women who were honoring the laws, the tenets, and the commandments of her father, their vows. Yeah, even in death, after death. None of you bitches are like that. Very few. It's like finding a diamond in the rough. And when she went and took her and Ruth, I'm talking about Naomi, to her husband's family's town, home, and country, and she introduced her to the land of her husband, and her husband's cousin was the boss man, a well-off and well-to-do man, all they did was work. They didn't even speak to him. And you know what she did? She gave her mother-in-law all the spoils to share. She asked for no money, no favor, no service. And that's why Boaz was generous to her and favorable upon her. Most of you bitches don't even know that. You see, you all talk a big game, but men are not supposed to follow you to God. Because most of you, when I say most, I'm talking about 99% of you, and I'm still being generous, don't follow God. You follow your cunt. You follow your feelings. You follow yourself. You follow the devil then. Because when things go wrong, you look to be saved. But when things are right, you don't want to be bothered. So, when you take your sons to church, you're actually committing a sin. Your son's father, your daughter's father, is supposed to be their minister, their preacher, their bishop, their leader. And since you are a rebellious daughter, which means you didn't get your father's permission to deal with a man or become a mother, and you hid all of your indiscretions, how then can Eliah teach her children to follow God? I know. Stop the shits. Submission is permission. Submission is admission. Submission is a promise. People who don't submit don't know that submission is commission or committing, meaning they don't commit. And that is an omission of the truth. But what do I know? I only know more of you bitches that do the opposite of what God instructs you to do. Especially when niggas like me who was doing what God, or the opposite of what God instructed him to do, is having fun doing it. Anywho, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and let's get the conversation started. Let's see if when I came on the godly side of things, did I somehow forget what hell looks like. And until next time, man, time out.